Hi, my name is Nathan and welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you're returning, then welcome back. So today's topic is gonna be about building a routine is like building a house. Now, you might be thinking in your head like, obviously it's like building a house, or you could be thinking, Nathan, how is it like building a house? So I'm gonna break it down like this. What's the very first thing you need to build a house? You need a blueprint, right? You need to know if there's pipes running under. You need measurements, pretty much a blueprint, your plan, right? Same thing if you're building a routine. Now, when you're making a routine, all you really have is like a rough idea in your head of the the things that you want to do per day, right? So, for example, for me, I wanted to add to my routine, like I want to stretch, I want to write in my notebook, I want to read, I want to brush my teeth twice a day, because I always grew up brushing it once, right? So brush my teeth twice. I'm saying that to say, in order to create a routine, you need a plan, right? Just like to build a house, you need a blueprint. Your blueprint is your plan for building the house. Now, your blueprint for your routine is the plan that you write out. Okay, now this might be like a plethora of things you just have in your head, like I want to do this, I want to post on Instagram, I want to stretch, I want to run, I want to, I don't know, brush my hair, like I have short hair, but brush your hair. Like there could be many things that you want to do per day. You could have like, say you have like 10 things that you want to do and you want to fit it all into your day, right? And you write out a plan for it and it just doesn't work out. You wake up the next day and you might do like the first thing. Hold up, these guys are clapping. I'm gonna just wait. I don't know if they were clapping on purpose to disturb me, but they definitely did disturb me. So back to my train of thought. You can have like 10 things that you want to do in a day, right? I'm that type of person. I want to do all these things in a day, but then I wake up the next morning and I do one or two things and then I get distracted, do something else. That's how I was in school, I always got distracted and everything, but pretty much you get distracted or things might not go the way you wanted it to go or something comes up, right? So the idea is not to stop, right? So you're gonna have to start with just one thing. And I'm not saying I'm not saying not to try to do more things, but write out your plan and list the things that you want to do in a day. For example, for myself, I want to stretch once a day for sure. I want to brush my teeth twice a day, right? I grew up brushing it once, so I'm trying to do it twice. So brush twice a day, and then there's going on a run, making a post on my Instagram. So that's 4 things actually, and writing in my notebook, right? So doing these 5 things might not always work out the way you want it to work out because you might have to go to work, right? So you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth your one time and you stretch, right? You go to work and you come home from work and maybe your boss was getting at you or you had a bad interaction coming home, and or you could just be drained from the day and you come home and you just sit, and you don't actually want to go for that run and you don't have the motivation to even write in your notebook or make a post on Instagram, right? And then boom, routine is messed up and you get down on yourself, and next day you don't even try, right? The next day you wake up and you just brush your teeth, hey, go to work, don't even stretch, right? And you don't even try to implement the same routine. And I'm saying this to say, like, in comparison to building a house, right? You don't go and you don't go to the job site after you come up with the blueprint and you start digging, right? Start digging. You don't just stop because like there's like a big boulder in the way and you can't keep digging there because the boulder's there, and you don't just take off your gloves, take off your boots, go home, okay, I'm never coming back here again. That's not what you do when you're building a house. when people are building these big apartments, building houses, there's things that come up. There could be something wrong in the blueprint. You could have put like a scaffold in the wrong place and you have to take down the whole scaffold and build it up again, right? So that's the next key. It's building it up again, building that plan up to actually suit yourself and to keep implementing it, not stopping it, right? Consistency is a big thing. And even if you can't keep the consistency of all 4 or 5 of the things you want to do, has to be the one. You have to do one thing a day, okay? So that's a big part, doing one of those things. So like I said, you don't just go and build a house and you see a boulder and you stop working, right? What do? You might have to dig around that boulder, and then you can take it out, and then boom, you're back in business. Now you're digging your hole big enough to, start your house and your pipes and stuff like that, right? So onto the habit part, right? In contrast, so you're there, you woke up in the morning and you brush your teeth and you stretched, you had a bad day at work, you came home, didn't do anything else that you wanted to do, right? Maybe you had a schedule, right? When I come home from work, I'm gonna do this at this time, after that I'll do this, and then that and that, right? You had it all planned out, and then you just didn't go with your plan, but you did one thing. That one thing is very important. Let me say that again. The one thing is very important. The one thing that you did. Because one thing that I've noticed is that I've done something once a day, okay? I've posted on Instagram once a day, almost every single day for the past almost 80 days. And I had 2 posts pretty much go viral, and the viral is like the house, right? But it's not like a full house yet, right? Because people haven't been following me and all that stuff, right? But I still have a viral video. But I wouldn't have had that viral video on Instagram if I didn't post every single day. If I stopped after train. If I stopped posting and got discouraged when I got 300 views and 500 views, then where would I be right now? 1, I wouldn't have got a viral video, and 2, I wouldn't have built up the habit. Habit is super important, right? So doing the 1 step per day will help you add to that, right? So for example, again, back to the routine. You write out your plan, wake up in the morning, you do your stretch, okay? You go to work. This is like day 2 or day 3, whatever you call it, after reevaluating and seeing how to make things work, right? You wake up, do your stretch, brush your teeth, go to work. You're already knowing, okay, people might make me mad at work, but I'm gonna come home, and the least I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post on Instagram, right? And you made that post, right? But maybe you didn't get to go on your run, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe you didn't brush your teeth before you slept, or you didn't write in your notebook, right? So you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, I didn't do these couple things, maybe I'm gonna stop again, right? That cannot happen. People don't do that when you're building a house. You don't do that. People are going back to that job site every day until the house is built. No matter if there's a mistake, issue, people get hurt, you're always coming back to that same job site to build the house. You can't just come and expect, people don't put up the frame of the house and there's a measurement wrong and they just say, all right, boys, new location, we're not working on this house anymore. That's the exact same thing with your routine. If you just pack up and you get discouraged and you say, okay, maybe this routine's not gonna work, maybe I can't build up good habits. If you put that in your head, then you're just not gonna do it. It's about the little wins. You always hear people saying 1% per day, and it sounds cliche because everybody says it nowadays, but in my opinion, the 1% is doing that one action, right? And the one action is a plus. Maybe you don't get to go on the run, and you don't let's reverse back. Let's say you write down 5 things that you want in your habits. Five habits you want to pick up, 5 things you want to add to your routine. And for a week, 2 months, like for however long, if you just do one of those things per day, you still built up a habit, right? So it doesn't start by you don't just write down a plan, you wake up the next morning and you do everything. That's not how life works, right? That's not how a house is built. You don't go dig the hole and boom, come back next day, house is built, right? You dig your hole, you build your plan, and you're digging the hole. You know what digging the hole is? The one thing that you do per day, the easiest thing. Listen, I should have said this at the beginning, but you're gonna need these 3 things in order to build an efficient routine and system to your life, okay? So first off, you need the plan, 1. Second of all, you need to start and take the first step, okay? After you take the first step, it's about not quitting. So those 3 things, right? You need those 3 things. 1, the plan. 2, you need to take the first step. And 3rd thing is keep taking that first step and don't quit, okay? So like I was saying, the house doesn't just get built. You don't just wake up and you have a good routine and healthy habits and stuff. It takes a lot of time and reflecting and writing it down over and over again. Maybe you're reading your routine and maybe you just left it in your bag for a week or 2, and then you kind of forgot about it. You're like, damn, I need to build up my routine again. Don't stop. Go back to that paper, read it out, and try to do it. What do they say? Practice makes perfect, right? I actually read in a book that I think it's repetition makes the master. So it's pretty much like saying practice makes perfect, right? So you have to keep taking that first step, right? If you stop taking that first step, you're just gonna backtrack, right? And even if you have a bad day, that's 100% okay. People need their days off. 1, 2, bad days happen. You're human. So like I wanted to say, keep taking that first step. Even if it feels repetitive and you're like, oh, why am I taking this first step if I haven't done all those other things that I wanted to do? Be grateful for the fact that you actually took that step today, right? And that's really something to build on. It's not something to get down on yourself about, right? Because, for example, myself, something that I really needed to do in life is stretch my body. I played a lot of sports, so my body would get battered up, and I'm a man, so working labor jobs, that stuff hurts your back, hurts your legs, and you cannot heal from that stuff unless you stretch. So something important for me, in order for me to live a healthier life and a more fruitful life, me to wake up happy every day, I can't be waking up sore, right? So what's the cure to that? Stretching. So after stretching every day, I'll feel good going to work. If I stop the stretching for a couple of days, I'll actually feel it. So yeah, if I don't stretch for a few days, I feel it, right? And that's just a reminder to get back on the routine. So pretty much for myself, I've built up a routine of, I'll say I do a good 3 things consistent every day, okay? And that might seem like a lot to you. I don't know, that doesn't seem like a lot for me, but it's better than where I was 2-3 years ago. Even last year, it's better than where I was last year, right? So where it first started for me is the stretching every day, right? When I got my new apartment, I started stretching once a day, and I didn't have a certain time when I would stretch, I would just stretch. So taking that first step, right? It might look sloppy, it might not look good, but you took that first step. And then, after you've taken that first step for 7 days straight, 5 days straight, then you're like, okay, how can I make this easier for myself to do? So then you say, okay, I'm gonna stretch after I do this action, right? And it's stepping stones. stepping stones. You do that for a good few days and you're gonna be hungry for more. And I'm gonna tell you, after the first like 5 to 7 days of doing an action, doing a habit once a day, I'm gonna tell you, after like 5 to 7 days, it actually feels natural. You know, like the number that they put to build a habit, it's like anywhere from 21 to 30 days. You know, it all depends on what you're trying to build up. And what I've noticed is after a good 5 to 7 days, you start to feel the difference in your head. And it's like, if you don't do that action after the 7th day, you feel kind of off and you wanna do it, right? So like I said before, building a routine is like building a house, right? What do you do with building a house? What's the first step? Obviously the plan, but after the plan, what do? You start digging. They do one claw at a time. You don't just wait. They don't just go with a big old scoop and dig a hole. It's one scoop at a time. They're digging. Okay, you see how deep they have to dig for these apartment buildings that they build? It's one at a time, right? That should be a key. Think about it. You do that one action in a day. Just think about it. You do that one action, that's the one thing that you've dug in the day, right? Do that the next day, that's 2 digs. Maybe you skipped a day. It's not that you backtracked. You just gotta dig again. Gotta keep digging. Gotta keep digging. And once you dig enough, then everything else will follow, right? With building these houses and apartments, these guys don't need all that material right away. All the material comes after they've dug the hole and they have what they need, right? So for yourself, you don't need like all these external things to make you better. It starts with yourself, right? So for example, myself, I'm like, oh, why hasn't my business done well? Why haven't I made money with my business? One thing I want to do is run across Canada. Oh, I'm gonna have to worry about getting funding, and I'm gonna have to get a driver and this and that. Like, I'm gonna need all these things to run across Canada, but I shouldn't even be thinking about what I need to run across Canada if I haven't even started to do the routine yet. If I haven't started to run every day yet, then why am I thinking about running across Canada and all the steps that I'll need in order to do that? All right, so that should be a key in thinking for you, because if you're trying to build up this habit or build up a career or build up a business, why are you focused on all the material that you need if you haven't started that small little step? Because that small little stepping stone, the little things that you've done day in and day out, it gets bigger. It gets bigger until it gets to a point where the resources actually come to you, and it come to your brain mentally, or it can come physically, but it'll come to you. And after it comes to you, then you get to that next level and you start to build on your routine. You start to get better at your routine. But it doesn't start off by just having a routine and boom, you're good. It doesn't start like that. So I think I've said everything that I wanted to in this video. I'll probably keep building on these subjects because I always watch them over and then I think of things that I could have said and I didn't say it, right? Because things are mostly off the top. But I was just thinking this on the way to work today. I'm wearing my soccer jersey because I just got back from a run. I relaxed for a bit, that's why I'm not sweating. But I just got back from a run. I'm starting that habit to do it every day. And yeah, it starts with that little first step, and after you keep taking that first step every day, then you're able to build on it. But don't get mad at yourself because you can't do those 5 habits that you wanted to do all in one day, because it starts with doing one. And be grateful that you actually did that one. Be happy, be satisfied, and take it as a win. Go to the next day and do the same thing, and maybe say, after that I'm gonna add this to it. And if you can't do it, then damn, try the next day. But keep trying to do that one step, because that one step will take you far, trust me. Again, this is Nathan. I'm signing out right now. If you watched it till the end, I really appreciate you. And please subscribe and like the video.